Top stories. Those waiting on the Cuban vaccine may have to wait a long time, according to health authorities. Change your view on the vaccine, says Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris to anti-vaxxers. And Guyana almost reaching herd immunity. This is the Skn Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey. Welcome. The National Housing Corporation NHC announced on Tuesday that Ms. Melissa Edwards-Bouton has been appointed General Manager of the corporation. Ms. Edwards-Bouton has BSc and MSc degrees in Civil Engineering and is currently pursuing a Chartered Financial Consultant Designation certification at the American College of Financial Services. The new General Manager has over 15 years of professional experience, including a decade of working as an engineer and project manager at large engineering consulting firms in the United States. Most recently, Ms. Edwards-Bouton leveraged her technical and project management expertise to improve operations and increase revenue at a financial planning firm that services over 500 client households and manages approximately $29 million US. That's about 78 million EC dollars in client assets. According to a press release from the National Housing Corporation, Ms. Edwards-Bouton's extensive background in engineering and project management, along with her financial planning skills, will help to strengthen the financial position, support, and sustainability of the corporation, as well as expanding the business model and foster greater rapport with key stakeholders, the NHC staff, homeowners, contractors, and suppliers. NHC, the release said, will now be uniquely positioned to capitalize on the changing construction and real estate environments as the industry evolves through restructuring, consolidation, and technical change. Ms. Edwards-Bouton's responsibilities include, but are not limited to, managing the day-to-day operations of the corporation, working closely with the NHC Board of Directors to implement strategies that will enhance the corporation, and creating a better working relationship among the NHC staff, contractors, and homeowners. Persons who say they are waiting for the vaccines from Cuba will have to wait for quite some time as they are not ready for distribution, health authorities have said. Skn Newsline's Glenn Bart reports.
Citizens who have expressed preference for the Cuban vaccines will have to wait several months before they might become available, health authorities recently indicated. Speaking on the 10th May edition of Straight Talk with Ian Patches-Liburd, both Dr. Hazel Laws and Dr. Cameron Wilkinson confirmed that the top candidate of the Cuban vaccine is months away from ending its phase 3 trials and will not be available soon.
The Cuban vaccine has not cleared all of the clinical trials as yet, and so it has no authorization by the World Health Organization to be used in the general public. And so yes, if the Cuban vaccine comes on board and it's available and you want to have it, I guess you can have it. But right now the platform that we have is the AstraZeneca vaccine that is being bought in by the government. I even have persons ask me, can I bring in the Pfizer vaccine? Well, if you think that you can go to Pfizer and order a few doses and get it shipped down here on a special refrigerator, you can do that, but it is not really practical. It's almost even difficult for even a Caribbean country to go to Pfizer and try and see if they can buy 50,000 doses.
Not even entertaining.
Yeah, you won't even be entertained. And so the vaccine that we have is the AstraZeneca that has been shown to be safe and effective. And so there is no reason for you to be saying you're waiting for something that is not available when you have one that can save your life now.
But answering questions if the Ministry of Health would approve vaccines from Cuba to be used in St. Kitts and Nevis, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws said yes and explained the current circumstances surrounding the Cuban vaccines.
We will consider vaccines that have achieved the World Health Organization emergency use listing. So right now Cuba has about 4 to 5 vaccines under production. Now these are protein vaccines, they are very promising, but then the scientist tells you that the Cubans took time to understand the virus, to understand the disease before they started. So they started late. And so there are a number of months before we can have access to the Cuban vaccines because they have not completed the phase 3 trials as yet. And so right now they are vaccinated their persons at home in Cuba to see how the vaccine works. They are collaborating with Iran, Venezuela, Mexico, just to name a few. They're collaborating with other countries in order to get their phase 3 trials completed so that we can even know what the efficacy of these vaccines are. So a lot of information is still left to be known about the vaccine candidates coming out of Cuba. So it's going to be a few months before they would have achieved emergency use listing anywhere in the world.
And we have to be careful with fake news mixed in with some truth, because I've seen things being circulated. Oh, the Cuban vaccine was approved by the World Health Organization and it's available, it's going to be here next week, etc. That is not so, and one can easily go to the World Health Organization site and check that information. And I've seen that information being circulated even by supposedly reputable news agencies here. And that is not so. And one is not pitting one vaccine against the other at all. If there's a vaccine from Cuba that's approved and we have access to it, of course we will offer.
Yes.
But for now, it's not.
2 of the 5 vaccines under development in Cuba are now in phase 3 trials. The Sovereignty 2 vaccine and the Abdallah vaccine will be in phase 3 for several more months before they can become candidates for emergency use approval. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
The bribery and treating case filed against Eugene Hamilton should have been heard in court, says former government minister in his latest commentary. More in this report. The Director of Public Prosecution should have allowed the bribery case against incumbent Member of Parliament Eugene Hamilton to proceed in the court, says former government minister and social commentator Dwyer Astafan in his latest commentary on Freedom 106.5 FM. Chairman of the opposition St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew, filed a case of bribery and treating against Mr. Hamilton, alleging that he committed acts of bribery in the lead-up to the 2020 general election. Dr. Drew was a candidate in that election contesting the constituency 8 seat, which Mr. Hamilton is the Member of Parliament. The case was discontinued by the DPP, Valson Graham, who claims that it did not stand a chance to succeed in the court. But Mr. Astafan suggested that the DPP should have allowed the case through regardless.
In order to dispel any misgivings that the public might have with regard to justice being duly administered, given the relationship between the DPP and the minister, would it not have been better for the DPP to simply stay out of it, even after Magistrate Eddy had recused himself, especially if the case was so obviously weak as the DPP claims that it is?
According to Mr. Astafan, it is in Mr. Hamilton's best interest for the case to proceed.
Even if Dr. Drew's case was too weak to pass the test of being successfully prosecuted, wouldn't it have been wiser to simply leave it alone, let the case proceed, let Dr. Drew suffer not just a legal defeat, but possibly also get political egg on his face? If I were Mr. Hamilton, I would have wanted the case to proceed. Why wouldn't I? Who would be afraid to face a challenge which he or she cannot lose?
Mr. Hamilton, in an interview with Skn Newsline after the DPP's decision, was dismissive of the case.
It was important that he make that decision because actually I think the case is a waste of time. They already spent 8 Mondays, which is my usual cabinet day, to attend to these matters in the court, and prolonging it would have just been more time wasting because, like I said, the evidence provided to support the charges are incongruent with the charges. And so I totally agree. And as I said, if it had to go beyond this, I think that they would certainly have been embarrassed by the evidence that was presented in this case.
For Dr. Drew, he lamented that the DPP prevented his case from being heard as he has compelling evidence against Mr. Hamilton.
That great consideration was given. The evidence was looked at, seasoned people who had put it together and said, look, this is really grounds to really deal with the situation with what took place. Why am I bringing the case? I'm going to deal with that afterwards. Now, I want the public to know that the DPP has not met with me once. I think that is a travesty to the normal process of justice being dispensed. He has not met with me once. Imagine.
Since it was announced that he would take over the case?
He never met with me.
Dr. Drew lost the contest for the seat to Mr. Hamilton twice, in 2015 and again in 2020. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline. Elliot's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. we have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliott's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500. Homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007, or 660-0186. Elliott's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis. Dedicated to those we serve.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Football is back, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association will be bringing you live football on its website, www.sknfa.com, with Premier League Live. Without fans in the stadium due to COVID-19 protocols, you can now watch every single Premier League match this season on www.sknfa.com and click on Live TV. Games are shown live on every match day with halftime and post-game shows. It's Premier League Live. Commentary, analysis, action. Never miss a game.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Autoplus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Autoplus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Autoplus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Autoplus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Welcome back. St. Kitts and Nevis' Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, is calling on anti-COVID-19 vaccination persons in the Federation to change their views for the good of the entire country. Glenn Bart reports.
People without medical reasons who are against taking the anti-COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine need to reconsider their stance based upon science and the reality of the dangers of contracting and spreading the disease, according to Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris. With health and tourism authorities working against the clock to vaccinate enough persons to achieve herd immunity in time to reopen the economy on October 1st, much effort continues to encourage persons to vaccinate voluntarily. Speaking with Skn Newsline, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris appealed to citizens who are against taking the vaccines for non-medical reasons to reconsider for the benefit of themselves, their families, and for the country.
To be at risk, or you prefer to minimize your risk of contracting COVID-19 and transmitting it by taking the vaccine. The science is on the side of those who go forward to take the vaccine. And we live in a world in which science rules. We had long ago, way back in March, indicated that until a vaccine that was reliable and safe became available, we would have to endure with some of the non-pharmaceutical measures, the mask wearing, the frequent washing of the hands, the social distancing, restriction on large crowds. The vaccine then, from a year ago, had been the most important development that would help us to restore not just St. Kitts and Nevis, but the entire global community to near normalcy. It is free, and again, my encouragement to all is to take the vaccine now while it is available. Do it to protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community, and to protect your country, and set it to work again, where more people can get jobs. The livelihood of thousands of persons in the tourism industry, from taxi driver to receptionist, to waiter and waitresses, hair braiders, all of that is dependent on our getting our people as close as possible to herd immunity. So all of us has an interest in the success, and I believe working together we will achieve the target.
As of 8th May 2021, over 14,000 doses of the vaccine had been administered, with 609 persons having taken their second dose, representing 1.84% of the targeted population to achieve herd immunity. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
The Nevis Reformation Party has launched a new candidate, Dr. Patricia Bartlett. Dr. Patricia Bartlett is the newest candidate launched by the Nevis Reformation Party NRP ahead of the Nevis Island elections. Dr. Bartlett was launched in Brown Hill St. John's Parish on the weekend, and she will contest the Nevis 2 constituency. According to a release from the NRP, Dr. Bartlett, the first Division woman to be trained as a veterinarian, addressed supporters and well-wishers of the NRP who came out in their numbers to witness the launch, which was virtually attended by more than 6,000 people in the diaspora. Highlighting some of the challenges people face in her constituency and by extension the island of Nevis, Dr. Bartlett, who previously served as president of the Brown Hill Community Management Team, focused on long-term employment opportunities and community development programs.
Employment amongst our high school graduates is not only at an all-time high, but it is at an unacceptable level. I can say that because as I visit households within this constituency, I see these dejected youths. I hear their stories. I understand now what they mean when they say nothing a keep. So I must say, we must, I repeat, we must find a meaningful way to engage our youths in their transition from school to the workplace, or else, mind you, or else, you know what they said, the devil is going to find work for their idle hands.
To date, the NRP has officially launched 2 of its 4 new candidates for the upcoming Nevis Island Assembly elections, constitutionally due in 2022. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline. Elliott's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliott's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500, homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007, or 660-0186. Elliott's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis. Dedicated to those we serve.
I eat some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Football is back, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association will be bringing you live football on its website, www.sknfa.com, with Premier League Live. Without fans in the stadium due to COVID-19 protocols, you can now watch every single Premier League match this season on www.sknfa.com and click on Live TV. Games are shown live on every match day with halftime and post-game shows. It's Premier League Live. Commentary, analysis, action. Never miss a game.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. Welcome back. To get an insight in some of the big stories across the region, we now have regional news. Chaos broke on one of Kingston, Jamaica's busiest streets close to midday as police engaged gunmen in a gunfight with 2 men left dead. TVJ News reports.
Close to midday on Monday, motorists got caught up in a daring gun battle between gunmen and police on Trafalgar Road in St. Andrew. A motorist was busy capturing aspects of the happenings. That police cornered 3 gunmen on Trafalgar Road in St. Andrew after they escaped following a shooting in which a man was killed. Someone on the scene captured this video of the police leading away one of the suspects. The police say he was injured and died later in hospital. Another of the suspected gunmen was pronounced dead at hospital, and the police say the 3rd man escaped. Damien, one of the windshield wiper at the location, shared his experience.
And you work out here, right? Yes, my general. I'm gonna street out them. So what draw your attention to what was happening? Just the loud explosion, my boss. Be a gunshot start fire and the loud explosion me here, and I have to get low too. Be a man, be a people, all the man them sell the juice and the roses them have to run while I go over Devon House until the shot them start see before come out back. About how much gunshot you heard? Well, about 60 shot man, fireman, cause the bad man them a fire back up on the police them, you know. And the police them a take back cover and a fire back.
Bullet holes riddled this Toyota Axio, which the police say was driven by the suspects. A JSAFE service vehicle on the scene also had bullet holes.
We have since recovered from the scene 2 Glock pistols that we, from all indication, were those involved in the shooting incident with the police. The police party are not saying that we have any injuries presently. I know of course there are always after effects.
The police said all started here at 74 Old Hope Road in St. Andrew, where the gunmen shot and killed Robert Fletcher. The brother of the deceased, Bruce Fletcher, said Robert was complaining of being harassed.
My mother was telling me that he was having problem with extortionists down here, you know. So they come and they demand things from him that he might not have to give to them. You know, what they think he might have and he don't have to give them. You know, so, you know, I don't know.
How long ago did he relate that to his mother?
Like probably about 2 months or going 2.5 months, 3 months ago.
Mr. Fletcher said in 2011, another of his brother was gunned down at the same location, and that their father was also killed there in the 70s. He died sometime after from his injuries. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Guyana is just 3 months away from herd immunity, as we hear in this HEP TV report.
Even as health authorities continue to push the envelope to ensure between 60 to 80% of the local adult population is immunized against COVID-19 in a timely manner. 3 months into the vaccination drive, which started on February 11th, more than 154,000 adults have been inoculated. Health authorities have indicated that an estimated 500,000 adults are eligible for vaccination across the country. However, achieving herd immunity would necessitate 350,000 adults being fully vaccinated. The potential end to COVID-19, which is anticipated to drastically reduce transmission, is referred to as herd immunity. This happens when a significant portion of a population achieves immunity to a disease, either through prior infection or vaccination, so that the disease is unable to spread from person to person. Based on the plan to immunize 70% of the adult population, Head of Medical Services and Cardiology at the Georgetown Public Hospital, Dr. Mahindra Karpan, in a recent interview with Nightly News, divulged that herd immunity is likely within the next quarter of this year.
Then that's 350,000 Guyanese or residents. So we're at 150. We need to vaccinate 200,000 more. It took us from March to May to do 150. So that is 2.5 months, maybe in another 3 to 4 months.
With the emergence of a COVID-19 variant in neighboring Brazil, which has made its way to Trinidad and Tobago, many Guyanese are worried whether the country will face the same fate. Dr. Karpan was asked whether any of the COVID-19 vaccines currently being used locally offer protection against the new variant.
The basic mechanism in which the vaccines work to reduce severity of illness continues to work even in the Brazilian variant. The countries that have been showing the catastrophic events of the second wave, there is a failure there for vaccinating the population rather than the failure of vaccines.
Brazil's P1 COVID-19 variant is behind a deadly COVID-19 surge in that country as well as Trinidad. It is considered to be a more highly transmissible and deadlier form of the virus. While health officials have not completely rubbished claims of the presence of the P1 variant in Ghana, they seem hesitant in confirming it. Instead, they are adamant that until samples are sent abroad for testing and the results confirm the existence of the mutant strain, the claims will be considered speculations. In a 24-hour period over the weekend, Trinidad recorded 8 deaths and Guyana 9. And given the sudden rise in new infections and deaths in both countries, and the fact that Guyana's airports remain open to all and sundry, it is impossible that the variant has escaped Guyana. Numerous, continuous, and growing calls from all sections of society for the government to reinstate the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew until the situation is brought under control continue to fall on deaf ears. Instead, as the body count spirals, vaccination seems to be the myopic solution for this administration. A second COVID-19 tsunami is also wreaking havoc in India, which has disrupted the manufacture of COVID-19 vaccines. Dr. Karpan took the opportunity to urge persons to avoid procrastinating to take the jabs, as there is possibility that a massive shortage will emerge.
There are many people in Guyana and around the world who may want to wait a little bit more before getting their vaccines. And I want to caution a little bit because we see what's happening in India. And a lot of the vaccine components, even for the Pfizer vaccine and Moderna vaccine, they are produced in India. And if India becomes overrun and they're unable to supply the world with medicines and vaccines, etc., then it will become scarce.
Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Internationally, at least 8 children and a teacher were killed in a shooting at a Russian school in the southwestern city of Kazan, local officials said. For more, rejoin Al Jazeera.
There was one explosion, or maybe 2. There was a strong bang. We jumped up and thought it was a truck. Then we heard alarms and ran out.
Keeping an eye on this situation from our London broadcast centre is Andrew Simmons. Andrew, bring us up to date.
Well, this whole affair happened in Kazan, which is the capital of the Tatarstan region. It's about 725 kilometers from Moscow. Now, one person, a 19-year-old, it's said, attacked the school. Certainly he had one rifle and another gun. The scenes were really very dramatic, disturbing images playing out on social media. Two of the children jumped from the third floor of the four-story building. And we're getting a figure, an official figure, as you've already reported, of 8 dead. That's apparently one teacher and 7 children. They're obviously, from the images you can see, these children are young, and they were running in total panic. It would appear there was automatic gunfire. The 19-year-old has been arrested on the scene. He was apparently manhandled and held down. Now, on social media, he apparently announced this attack. Whether it was before or after is unclear, and a picture has been posted of an individual wearing a red mask, apparently with a phone. Whether that's him or not, it's unclear. As I say, social media reporting most of the facts, although Rustam Minikhanov, the governor of this state, of this region, has been giving the information. Earlier, there were reports of 11 dead. It is likely that the casualty figure could rise.
The Israeli military renewed its bombardment of the beleaguered Gaza Strip on Tuesday morning, targeting several areas after rockets were fired from the enclave. More in this Al Jazeera report.
In the past 24 hours, all the violence and unrest we saw in occupied East Jerusalem has switched to Gaza. Israel is continuing to hit the Strip with airstrikes. 27 of people have been killed, including 9 children. And Israel's defense minister has approved more attacks, as well as the calling up of about 5,000 reserve soldiers. Meanwhile, Hamas and Palestinian armed groups have been firing hundreds of rockets themselves into southern Israel. 2 women killed, in fact, in the city of Ashkelon in Israel. Giving rise to all of this, of course, was Monday's violence in occupied East Jerusalem when Israeli forces stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. Hundreds of Palestinians were wounded, some of them hit by those rubber-coated steel bullets in the eyes. So, our coverage team, as they have been the last few days, Nida Ibrahim in Ramallah, occupied West Bank. Harry Fawcett has moved from occupied East Jerusalem to southern Israel. This is, I believe, Harry, as close as you can get safely to the Gaza barrier fence.
Well, yes, as close as we can get for now. The Israeli police checkpoint on the main road here, they didn't let us get any closer than this. So we're a couple of kilometers away from that border fence. We're south of Ashkelon, and indeed Ashdod, where that very, very large barrage was fired a little earlier on Tuesday. That barrage, Hamas says, consisted of 137 rockets fired within 5 minutes. So that is a major firing of heavy ordnance at these 2 towns, and it seems to have swamped the Iron Dome system to some extent. I think I just heard another interception in the distance there. And we have now got this confirmation that a house was hit in Ashkelon and 2 women were killed. As you say, the airstrikes continue inside Gaza as well. That death toll now up to 27, including 9 children. And the Israeli military is talking about one strike in particular on an apartment building in the center of Gaza City, in which the Palestinian Islamic Jihad faction said 3 of its fighters were killed. The Israeli military and Islamic Jihad have both confirmed that one of them was a rocket-fire commander, Sama Abdul al-Mamluk, and that preceded the very big barrage that came in the other direction. They had, Hamas and the other factions, promised to fire longer-range rockets if residential areas were hit.
In sports, Guyana Amazon Warriors have retained their star players to their squad ahead of the 2021 season of the Caribbean Premier League, which of course will be played in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Guyana Amazon Warriors have announced their retentions for the 2021 Hero Caribbean Premier League, which gets underway in St. Kitts and Nevis on August 28th. The Amazon Warriors have retained 11 of the players who guided them to the semi-finals of the 2020 event. Nicholas Pooran made the only century of last year's tournament, and he'll be back with the Warriors this year along with Shimron Hetmyer and Brandon King. The Warriors will also be welcoming back South African leg spinner Imran Tahir and Afghan fast bowler Naveen ul Haq. The squad also features up-and-coming Guyanese players Kevin Sinclair and Ashmead Ned, both of whom impressed in 2020 at their first Hero CPL. The Amazon Warriors have 6 spots left to fill in their squad and will be announcing these in the coming weeks. The Ghana Amazon Warriors management said in a press release from the CPL, quote, "The management of the Ghana Amazon Warriors franchise are very pleased to retain the core group of players which have comprised our squad over the last 2 years. The franchise is very appreciative of the retained players for their loyalty and commitment to the Ghana Amazon Warriors. It is the hope of the franchise that the majority of the players being together over the last 2 tournaments, the team unity, camaraderie and support for one another in working towards a common goal and purpose will bring the desired result of winning the tournament this year," end quote. So the players retained by the Ghana Amazon Warriors, Nicholas Pooran, Imran Tahir, Shimron Hetmyer, Brandon King, Naveen ul Haq, Romario Shepherd, Shandapal Hemraj, Odin Smith, Anthony Bramble, Kevin Sinclair and Ashmead Ned. You have been watching the Skn Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey. From all of us here at Skn Newsline and Channel 95, thank you for watching.